He didn't read the diary, just sat turning it over in his hands, riffling the pages of closely spaced scribbling. The diary had been his parents' idea. They kept diaries of major vacations like their trip to England. So you won't forget to England. Typically, he thought that in commercial terms, a tour book filled with sketches and photos, a piece of comic book history. The tour book tried on several formats like ill-fitting clothes before being abandoned to some future. Deni Sim's 1982 tour book, vintage memories and photos too. I'm flipping through the maps and notes, finding old sketches as you, Dave. Deni Sim's 1982 tour book. Everybody looks like it's the 70s still. Lots of beige, stare too hard and you'll get ill.
And Anonymous continues and says, I thought some of the X-Men movie shtick was an attempt to modernize from Claremont, and that the leather jackets, etc., were more Grant Morrison era. That I have absolutely no awareness of. That would be interesting. I did notice that when I saw the first X-Men movie. It's one of the few things that I remember was going, well, that's interesting. Is we don't have a superhero team with all different costumes. We've got all a superhero team all dressed in black leather. Don't go there, kind of thing. Having said that, guys like Morrison and Mark Miller make Stan Lee look self-deprecating, so I can see the need for panel-by-panel comparisons if Dave's thesis is that Claremont came up with scenes that were used in movies. Did Claremont come up with the shtick of Wolverine putting the cigar out on himself to show off the healing factor? I didn't know that one either. That's pretty good. I suppose Chris could answer that, and might turn out that that would be a bone of contention between collaborators, where the artist that first did it would go, "No, I came up with that. I penciled the thing, and then Chris wrote it, but that wasn't his idea. That was my idea." I think movie Nightcrawler was way more gloomy and guilt-ridden than the comic version, so not sure Claremont can get credit for that. Credit or blame, I guess. It's when did gloomy and guilt-ridden become character attributes of heroes? Everyone loves movie Magneto and Professor X, but to the best of my knowledge, the plastic prison in X2 isn't from the comics. All the Iceman and Rogue stuff was Claremont, I think. So thank you for the input on that. I don't know if that'll trigger some extra thoughts on the part of the other anonymouses out there who might go, when he mentioned this part here, that made me think of this thing over here. And you never know. There's a lot of accidental movement forward in addition to intentional movement forward in all areas of life. It's weird because Dave's whole premise is contrary to what he wrote in that Comics and the Mass Medium essay back in the day. He used to make fun of the idea that people would rush from the movie theaters to check out the comic version of Batman or Spider-Man or whatnot. I know this was before the Marvel Studios era, but not sure why Dave thinks that Joe and Jill Lunchpail care about Marvel comics suddenly. People are excited about Doomsday because Robert Downey Jr. is in it. I didn't know that. Dr. Doom, the character, has already been in multiple movies that have either flopped or not exactly set the box office on fire. I didn't know that either. And Robert Downey Jr. He's he's not Iron Man anymore. He's Doctor Doom, right? So I wonder what the policy at Disney on that is. How many chances does Robert Downey Jr. get to nail Doctor Doom? And how many do we say, oh, okay, well, that one lost money, but it wasn't Robert Downey Jr.'s fault. No, I'm not. I'm not advocating that people will read this and suddenly go out and pick up the comics. It's more. This is where we were in 1982. Comics is where comics were in 1982. This is where they have ended up in 2026, where all the comic books are known as is raw materials for big budget Disney, Marvel superhero movies. But I do think that if we carry through on what I'm talking about, this is where Dave Sim, Cerebus, and movie cinema ended up, then because we would devote, I don't know how many pages, like 3 pages, 4 pages, to the Simonson, Oliver Simonson Cerebus animated film. I think there is a possibility that people buying it and looking at the visuals for that would be likely to say, oh, it's on Crave or whatever it's on, and I'm going to check that out. And that'll bring in another, whatever it is, like $3 or something like that. And every little bit helps, particularly if the 82 tour book continues to circulate. Anonymous said, I think someone should tell Dave that not all of the X-Men movies were hits. I mean, the highlight of Claremont's era was the Dark Phoenix saga. They adapted elements into X-Men 3, which was critically panned and killed off all the major characters. Really? They did that? Okay, well, I have no reason to doubt you. So they had to go to the prequel route. Then when they did an actual Dark Phoenix movie in 2019, it lost over $130 million. That doesn't exactly support Dave's thesis that Claremont/Bill came up with the key elements that make Marvel movies guaranteed billion-dollar smash hits. Well, again, don't put words in my mouth. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that a guy who wrote a superhero comic book and his ideas were the foundation of that of the movie. It made $1 million. Duly noted what you're saying, that they don't all make $1 billion. It's still noteworthy that even if one of Chris Claremont's concepts expanded into a full-length movie that grossed $1 billion, that's impressive and noteworthy, particularly from the standpoint of here's where we all were in 1982, and we had no idea that this is where we were going. But I think it is a good idea to make note of that exactly what you're saying. Not only were they not hits, and when I was looking at the list, I was going, oh, right, I didn't realize that New Mutants actually didn't make very much money. It lost money, but I don't think it lost $130 million. I think it was scaffolded in a different way, so that it wasn't really a major big market, big budget Marvel Comics movie. It was made to look that way on the cheap, and of course it was released just as the COVID thing was winding down in the U.S. and still going gangbusters in Canada. So yeah, I'm thinking with the design that Birdsong is doing to try and get all of this X-Men thing, crammed into 2 pages. It might be interesting to have some sort of a design thing that says, okay, here's the X-Men movies. Here's top of the heap, the $1 billion one, the $1 billion gross. And here's bottom of the heap, the one that lost $130 million. So no, I'm not saying that Chris Claremont and Bill Sienkiewicz guaranteed $1 billion grosses. Is there not potentially a legal issue if Dave starts having excerpts of reams of X-Men panels for the book too? It wouldn't be covered by the parody exemption as it's technically more criticism analysis. I think in terms of the criticism analysis thing, we're going over in the direction of fair use. That this is it is fair. If you're commenting on something, you should be able to show the thing that you're commenting on. You shouldn't have to say, well, this is copyrighted and I couldn't get permission from Disney, so consequently I will talk about this, but you'll have no idea what it is that I'm talking about.
Cerebus was the name of the magazine. Her sister and brother provided the aardvark and Vanaheim of the publishing company's name when they realized that Cerebus had been misspelled and ad-libbed that Cerebus was the name of the aardvark mascot cartoon Cerebus the Aardvark.